Some sisters borrow clothes. Mine tried to borrow my entire life, including my husband. You'd think by the time we hit adulthood, the whole sibling rivalry thing would fade away. But if your sister is Lila, it doesn't. Growing up, Lila didn't just want what I had. She felt entitled to it. My toys, my clothes, my friends. If I showed even a hint of happiness over something, Lila would find a way to take it or copy it and somehow make it all about her. And our parents? They'd just sigh and say, "She's the baby, Ava. Let her feel included." Included? She wasn't trying to be included. She was trying to replace me. I'm Ava, the older sister by 4 years. I was always the quiet one, the helper, the mature kid. I did what I was supposed to do. Good grades, part-time job in high school, never snuck out, always home on time. Lila, on the other hand, she was wild, reckless, and somehow still managed to get away with everything. She wrecked my first car and I had to apologize for not hiding the keys. She ruined a scholarship interview by showing up drunk and shouting my name in the background while I was on a Zoom call. And my parents still blamed me for not setting boundaries. So I stopped trying. I got my own apartment at 20, paid my way through school, and slowly started building a quiet life where Leela couldn't reach. Or so I thought. By the time I turned 28, I was married to Daniel, the most calm and grounded man I've ever met. He's not flashy or loud. He listens, thinks before he speaks, and has this quiet way of making everything feel steady. We met at a bookstore, bonded over the last copy of a book we both wanted, and ended up talking for 2 hours in the coffee shop next door. He proposed after 2 years with no drama, no games, and no Instagram perfect performance. Just a handwritten letter, a simple ring, and him asking, "Can I build a life with you?" I didn't hesitate. When we got married, Lila showed up late to the ceremony. She wore a white dress. She gave a toast where she talked more about her dating life than our relationship. Everyone thought it was awkward. I thought it was predictable. That was Lila, always making things about her. Still, I tried to be gracious. I even invited her to stay with us for a weekend after she hit a rough patch with her roommate. Daniel agreed, even though he'd only met her twice. "I don't mind," he said. "She's family." That weekend was when it all started. At first, it was little things. She wore my perfume, took selfies in our bathroom mirror, flirted a little too openly with Daniel. Nothing obvious, just light touches on the arm, overly dramatic laughs at his dad jokes, that sort of thing. I noticed. Of course I did. But Daniel, he just acted normal. He'd glance at me sometimes like, "Is she always like this?" And I'd nod silently like, "Worse." Then came the laundry incident. I walked into the guest room to drop off towels and found one of my dresses, a fitted green wrap dress I'd bought for a date night with Daniel, laid out on Lila's bed with a pair of heels beside it. I didn't say anything. I just picked up the dress, folded it, and placed it back in my closet. I didn't lock the door. I wanted to see what she'd do next. That night, Lila came out of the room wearing a different dress, but gave me this look like we were in on some secret game. "Ava, you really should organize your closet better. It's a gold mine in there." Daniel chuckled from the couch. "You planning to rob her blind, Lila?" She smiled. "Only a little." A week later, I saw a notification on our shared iPad, a message from Lila to Daniel, sent on Instagram. "Thanks for being so sweet to me this week. You and Ava are lucky to have each other." He hadn't replied. He hadn't even seen it. I marked it as unread, put the iPad back, and sat down at the kitchen table with my tea. My heart wasn't racing. I wasn't angry. I was tired. Because this wasn't new. Lila had done this my whole life. She just never had the guts to try and steal something that actually mattered. That night, I laid in bed beside Daniel and said, "If someone wanted your attention, would you tell me?" He turned over, gave me a confused look. "What kind of question is that?" "Just wondering," I said softly. "I'm with you," he replied. "That's not changing." Then he kissed my forehead and turned off the light. I stayed awake staring at the ceiling. Because I believed him, but I didn't trust her. When Lila left that weekend, she hugged Daniel a little too long. I watched from the doorway. She didn't even make eye contact with me when she left, just tossed her bag over her shoulder and said, "Later, sis." I didn't say it back. Over the next few weeks, she kept finding excuses to stop by. She forgot her curling iron, then her necklace, then some boots she definitely left in the hallway. Each time, she made a joke about how cute Daniel looked in husband mode. Each time, I smiled and nodded and offered her tea. She thought I was passive. She didn't know I was watching. And planning. The real turning point came when I got a call from my mom, Karen. "Why didn't you invite Lila to your anniversary dinner?" I paused. "Because she wasn't invited." "That's cold, Ava." I held the phone tight in my hand. "Was it cold when she tried on my wedding dress 3 days before the ceremony and laughed about how it fit her better?" Silence. "I didn't know about that," Mom finally said. "Yeah," I replied. "There's a lot you didn't know." That night, I told Daniel everything. The messages, the dress, the weird visits, all of it. I didn't accuse him of anything. I just said, "She's trying to take what I have. I think she always has." Daniel sat with that for a while. Then he nodded. "Then let's show her what happens when she finally gets it." After that night, Daniel and I were completely on the same page. No yelling, no confrontations, no messy accusations, just a plan. Because that's the thing about people like Lila. They don't know how to handle calm. They expect chaos, screaming, drama, and when you don't give it to them, they get sloppy, which is exactly what we were counting on. The first step? Make her feel safe. We let her back in, slowly. I texted her one day with a casual, "Hey, I found that curling iron you left behind. Want to come by and grab it?" She responded in under a minute. "OMG, yes! I've been looking everywhere for it." Right. That weekend, she showed up looking like she was about to model for Instagram. Full makeup, heels, hair done, nails fresh. For a curling iron? She walked into our house like it belonged to her. Daniel played it cool, offered her coffee, made small talk. He was polite, warm, and just distracted enough. She latched onto it like it meant something. "He's such a great guy, Ava," she said when he walked out to grab something from the garage. "You're lucky." I smiled. "I know." She leaned in. Not every guy would let his wife's sister hang around like this. "Only the trustworthy ones," I said. She blinked. Changed the subject. We started inviting her more often. Game nights, takeout, Netflix. I acted like nothing was wrong. Like I loved having my little sister around. She started posting pictures of our dinners, but always cropped me out. "Best couple I know," she captioned one, with only her and Daniel in frame. I didn't comment. I just screenshotted. Around that time, Daniel and I started collecting everything. Every text, every weird flirt, every accidental brush of the hand. Every time she complimented him while side-eyeing me. We built a file, not for court or drama, just for proof, in case anyone ever tried to say we were imagining it. I even had my friend Maya, who works in social media analytics, quietly keep tabs on Layla's Finsta account, the private one she thought I didn't know about. Spoiler, she talked about Daniel a lot. Meanwhile, we started nudging Lila into getting bold. It wasn't hard. I'd make excuses to leave the room during visits. I'd ask Daniel to help her with tech stuff or lift heavy boxes. I even told her, casually, "If I ever die first, I'd want you to take care of him." She laughed nervously. "Don't be weird." But the seed was planted, and Lila, she couldn't help herself. Then came the text, the one that changed everything. She sent it at 1:43 a.m. to Daniel's phone. I know this is crazy, but if you ever felt the same, I wouldn't tell anyone. Ava doesn't get you like I do. Daniel handed me his phone without saying a word. I didn't cry. I just said, "Let's finish this." We didn't respond. Instead, I called my parents and invited them over for dinner, told them I had something important to talk about. They sounded hesitant, but agreed. Then we set the trap. We invited Lila too. Told her we were doing a family dinner and wanted her to be part of it. She showed up dressed like she was going to prom. Dinner started off normal. Pasta, salad, wine. Everyone talked, laughed, caught up. Then, right before dessert, I pulled out my laptop and turned it toward my parents. "There's something I think you should see." Daniel pressed play. It was a video, one I had secretly recorded the week before. Lila sitting on our couch, alone with Daniel, her hand on his arm, her voice soft. "You know she doesn't appreciate you the way I do." She leaned in. He pulled away. "You need to stop," he said firmly. "This isn't happening." She laughed, like it was a joke, but he wasn't laughing. "You're my wife's sister. What's wrong with you?" Cut to her face. Stunned, angry, embarrassed. Cut to me, walking in at the perfect moment. "Smile, Lila," I said in the video. "You're on camera." Back at the dinner table, the silence was brutal. Lila looked like she wanted to melt through the floor. My dad stood up. Is this real? I nodded. Every bit of it. My mom covered her mouth. Leela, how could you? Leela looked at me. Her voice cracked. You set me up. No, I said. You walked right into it. She left in tears. My parents apologized over and over. We didn't know. We're so sorry, Ava. I didn't say much. Just cleared the dishes and said I needed to get some rest. Daniel took my hand. You okay? I'm fine, I said. She wanted my life. I gave it to her, just not the part she thought. After that dinner, Lila didn't call, text, or show up for almost 2 weeks. Honestly, it was peaceful. Daniel and I started having real conversations again. Not just quiet whispers while Lila was in the other room, or coded looks during awkward dinners. We actually laughed, slept better, ate slower. It was like we finally exhaled after months of holding our breath. But I knew it wouldn't last. Lila doesn't stay quiet for long. She started with my mom, Denise. Told her it was a joke gone too far, that she didn't mean anything by it, that Daniel misread her and I was being dramatic as usual. My mom told her to stop talking. For the first time, Denise didn't defend her. I saw the video, Lila, she said. Don't make this worse than it already is. Then Lila posted a story on her private Instagram, just a black screen with white text. Funny how people always want to paint the quiet ones as victims when they're actually the biggest manipulators. Maya sent it to me with a one-word caption. Desperate. She wasn't wrong. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Everyone else started doing it for me. Our cousins stopped replying to Lila's messages. Her best friend from high school posted a shady meme that read, "Don't be jealous of someone else's garden when you spent years planting weeds in theirs." Lila commented, "Wow, okay." The post disappeared the next day. So did Lila's access to half the group chats. She had been the storm for so long, she didn't know how to handle rain. Meanwhile, Daniel forwarded the original text message and the video to Lila's boss. Not out of pettiness, just as a precaution. You see, Lila worked in HR for a medium-sized tech firm. Her job was literally enforcing boundaries and company conduct policies. A week later, she was let go for unrelated reasons. Sure. She finally showed up at our house again one afternoon. No notice, no text. I heard the doorbell, checked the camera, and saw her standing there, hair pulled back, no makeup, just a hoodie and leggings. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. She looked past me into the living room like she used to belong there. Can we talk? We are. She hesitated. I didn't think it would go this far. You thought you'd flirt a little, shake things up, maybe steal some attention, maybe even steal him. Am I wrong? She blinked fast. I never meant to actually hurt you. That one made me laugh. You just meant to what? Borrow my husband? She didn't answer. That's when Daniel came downstairs. He didn't say a word. He just walked to the door, stood behind me, and folded his arms. Lila looked between us. For a second, she looked like a kid again. Caught, scolded, pretending to be sorry. I need help right now, she said. I lost my job. Mom won't let me come home. You have friends, I said. Not really. Then maybe it's time you figure out why that is. She started crying, but I didn't budge. Daniel gently closed the door. We stood in silence for a while after that. Not because we were shaken, but because it felt like the last page of a chapter neither of us wanted to reread. Later that night, Denise called again. She sounded smaller, like someone whose vision had finally cleared. You know, I always thought you were the strong one because you didn't cry or yell. That's not strength, I told her. That's survival. She was quiet. I'm sorry, I didn't believe you sooner. I stopped needing you to, I said, but I'm glad you do now. The weirdest part? I didn't feel proud or satisfied or even smug. I just felt done. Done competing in a race I never signed up for. Done begging to be seen when I was already standing in plain sight. A few days later, Maya and I got coffee. She raised her cup and grinned. To surviving sisters from hell. To moving on, I added. Are you, she asked. Almost, I said. And for the first time, I actually meant it. By the time summer rolled around, everything felt quiet. Not forced, not awkward, not heavy like it had been before. Just quiet. No more random visits. No secret texts. No twisted attempts at attention disguised as help. Lila had vanished from our lives. Not because we pushed her out, but because she finally realized the door wasn't open anymore. Daniel and I went on our first real vacation in over a year, Just a little cabin in the mountains. No cell service, no social media, no drama. We sat on the porch one night under a sky full of stars, drinking hot chocolate wrapped in a shared blanket. He turned to me and said, "You look lighter." I smiled. That's because I finally stopped carrying her. That moment hit hard. I'd spent so much of my life adjusting myself, dimming my joy, shrinking my wins, and biting my tongue, all to keep the peace in a family that never noticed who was always doing the peacekeeping. Now I was done. Not bitter, just done. I still got updates about Lila, even without trying. She moved in with a friend, then moved out 2 weeks later. Burned that bridge fast. Tried starting a YouTube channel. It flopped. Applied to a few HR jobs, but word had gotten around. The tech world's smaller than she thought. And Denise? She finally stopped making excuses. She even texted me one morning. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't letting go. It's admitting what we held onto was never real. I stared at that text for a while, not because it hurt, but because I'd waited 30 years to hear something like that from my mother. One night, while cleaning out old boxes, I found a photo of Lila and me from when we were kids. We were on the swings at the park. I looked serious, like always. Lila was laughing. Back then, I didn't realize how early the roles had been assigned. I was the responsible one. She was the fun one. I held things together. She pulled them apart. And no matter what happened, it was always my job to understand her. Even when she never once tried to understand me. Do I forgive her? Honestly, some days I think I do. Other days I think forgiveness is overrated, especially when people never ask for it. What I know for sure is this. I no longer lose sleep over what she might say, do, or ruin. That alone is its own kind of peace. Daniel and I moved a few months later. New place, new city, new routines. He built bookshelves by hand. I painted the walls yellow, a color I used to hate, but now felt warm and brave. We never blocked Lila's number. We just changed ours. Sometimes people ask me if I miss having a sister. And my honest answer? I miss the idea of one. The version I made up in my head. The one who'd clap when I got promoted, send me dumb memes at midnight, or call just to say she was proud of me. That sister never existed. And I'm done grieving her. They say revenge is best served cold. But I think it's better when the ones who hurt you realize you've stopped playing the game entirely. When they finally look up and realize they lost because they destroyed themselves trying to become you. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you want to share your stories, please comment below. Additionally, what is your opinion on the poster's decision?